What is a eerie town or place where you felt completely unwelcome, and why? Troyes, France. We were in the old medieval area, which was incredible, but it was eerie because there were literally no other people there. And bizarre because there were sound systems pumping Britney Spears music into the streets. I felt like Shrek and Donkey walking into Duloc. Removed. Pretty benign by the standards of this thread. But a buddy and I were on a road trip to Vegas and we stopped in this little small town in Nevada. Unbeknownst to us, it was right next to a military base that was apparently focused on some pretty high-level research. My buddy's car was not exactly in great shape and we broke down while stopped at a red light on a road adjacent to the base. I kid you not. Within maybe 3 minutes there were 5 unmarked SUVs around us. The guys that got out were very friendly but very businesslike. They quickly got our car moving. Again. Wished us well. And told us pleasantly but quite firmly not to stop on that road again. Nitro. WV. I pulled into a gas station to fill up my leaky tire. There were people hanging out at the gas station at 3 in the morning. Giving the tweaker stare. One asked to borrow my phone despite there being a working pay phone. I jumped in the car with a half-flat tire, went 10 miles down the road, and found a much less sketchy truck stop to fill the tire back up. In northern BC there's a long stretch of highway with absolutely nothing but dense forest and it's nicknamed Highway of Tears, in reference to an incredible amount of mostly First Nations women who've gone missing or have been found dead, murdered on the stretch of road. After visiting family, my husband, kid, 5, and I were headed south on that road, and during this one long stretch with few cars around us, a white cop car flashed its lights to get us to pull over. So we did, and once pulled over he turned his brights on. As we waited for the cop, my partner and I were trying to guess what this was about. We were driving an insured car at the speed limit, sober with a valid license. So after a couple of minutes, we were getting slightly worried we had unknowingly done something. When the officer got close enough to actually see him, this dude was not a cop. His uniform looked like he had ordered off Wish and looked off. If you had never seen a uniform or weren't from this country, I don't think you would know. We asked to see his badge and he got visibly nervous. So he went back to get the badge from the car and suddenly the brights switched off and the car roared past us. When we reported it, we learned we weren't the only ones stopped by a fake cop. Wilcania, New South Wales. Ass end of nowhere. If you're ever on that road, stop overnight in Broken Hill instead. Much safer. What is a disturbing fact most people are unaware of? Edgar Allan Poe wrote a novel in 1838 in which 4 shipwrecked survivors, at the point of starvation, choose to resort to cannibalism. So they kill the young cabin boy, Richard Parker, and eat him. In 1884, a ship called the Mignonette sank. 4 crew members survived. At the point of starvation, they killed and ate the youngest of them, Richard Parker. Approximately 5 pounds of your body weight is bacteria. In WW2, Japan bombed China with bubonic plague-infected fleas. Adult teeth in toddlers are right under their eyes. The Challenger crew compartment stayed intact after the initial explosion. And for 3 of them their emergency air systems had been manually activated. So not only did they survive the explosion, but it's entirely possible the crew was alive and conscious during their entire descent back to Earth. You need to rotate a human head 3 times to fully decapitate it because of the elasticity of the skin. What's a movie trope you are sick and tired of? Whenever something technical gets explained, there's always some dipshit who can't fathom all this high-tech witchcraft and says something like, "Can you say that in English? You know that hacker? The one that the CIA, NSA, FBI has been after for years? The one that crippled our national infrastructure just to prove they could? Yeah. It's a kid. When someone is stabbed, shot, limps around in pain for 30 seconds, then continues on as if nothing happened, showing the villain is evil by having them kill a henchman for a mistakes. I know who the killer is. Meet me behind the old warehouse at midnight and I'll tell you. Or, you can maybe text me their name now and explain later at the police station. I can't kill this bad guy after killing all their henchmen, it would be wrong. What is the greatest mental health tip you have ever received? Many metals are negatively affected by exposure to oxygen or moisture. If you want to keep your metals pristine, store them in a way that minimizes exposure. This can be as easy as storing your elemental sodium or potassium in kerosene to prevent it from reacting with moisture in the air. Or for steel and iron, you can simply paint it with a quality water-resistant paint. Edit. Minor spelling. Don't use a glass cutting board, it'll ruin your knives. Don't put aluminum in a microwave. Mercury is poisonous. Make sure to jump when the wall of death clashes together. If someone goes down in the pit, you fucking pick them up. What kind of people are the most annoying? Casually irresponsible people who make everyone else around them deal with their mistakes. People who haven't experienced shit and yet preach to the experienced what to do. One-uppers. Non-stop talkers who are uneasy with being quiet. Self-bragging narcissist people, they're like only they're living in this world, others aren't. People unwilling to admit that they don't know. What was your "this situation could use an adult, wait I'm an adult" moment? Pretty much anytime I'm around kids. They say something and half the time I look to see if someone can translate. They do something an adult wouldn't do and I look to see if anyone else is near to deal with it. Bringing our baby home for the first time after I was very, very poorly after the emergency C-section. Hard to look after a baby you just had pulled out when you can't technically walk properly. Or bathe yourself. Thank God for my mum and dad. They cleaned house, cooked, comforted my broken husband, looked after baby, helped me walk again, mended broken shit around the house, painted doors, unstuck stuck drawers. Jesus, they were a godsend. Being a security guard at 18 and having to break up a brawl between multiple older adults in their 30s and 40s. After coming home with twins. That first year had me crying for my mom. When I have to cook dinner for myself every night. Whenever a child cries at my school, I am a substitute teacher. Subscribe, my brothers.